visit at the invitation of his Kenyan counterpart. It's a short visit, immediate to the private conversations. The private visit has been executed. The president will immediately return to Osaka. So he has left today to meet with his Kenyan counterpart, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, his private visit.
When is he back?
He is back at the weekend.
And the position of the president on the debate on the FIC?
The president does not have a position, so to speak, because one, like you and I, he read in social media and later on in other newspapers that a report by FIC alleging tax fraud, corruption, tax evasion, ordinary fraud has been put in the public domain. So like you and I, he read in social media. But his only position now is as a result of the unfair criticism and the unfair demands being put on him by civil society to take action on a report that has not been submitted to him. Out of interest, we have looked for that report. And the position of the president is that he does not take action on matters that have not been investigated by the law enforcement agencies, where he has not been advised whether there is a prima facie case or not. So the president is unaware of the tax evasion income loss of 4.5 billion. He's unaware of that. If the law enforcement agency is responsible for dealing with tax evasion, that may or may not have led to the loss of those magnitudes that are in the FIC report, then ZRA must be asked. The civil society who are putting that demand on the president must put that demand on ZRA so that they can tell whether, in fact, the 4.5 billion loss has occurred. The fraud that has been alleged, the president does not know of any police report that is alleging fraud against any citizen, whether in government or in private sector. The president is unaware of the money laundering charges against any individual. So again, you members of the media must go and ask the DEC whether they have rendered a report to the president on money laundering and racketeering, which is in the domain of that. You can go and ask the ZRA Commissioner General or anyone who speaks for them whether in fact they have rendered any report on the revenue loss of 4.5 billion. The president, of course, would be concerned if that kind of money is being lost. But the president does not have the report, neither from the FIC nor from ZRA on the loss of that amount. The president does not even have a report from the Minister of Finance, who is the immediate officer tasked with superintending over the resources of the country. The amounts reported to have been lost or stolen do not even appear in the Auditor General's report, which the president, in accordance with the law, immediately tendered for Parliament, because the law obligates him within 7 days of receipt of the Auditor General's report to cause him to be tabled before Parliament, which it is. The revenue loss due to tax evasion is not there. The fraud amounts being alleged in the online report we have seen from FIC is not there. Several allegations of tax evasion, fraud, racketeering, money laundering are all not in the Auditor General's report. The amount reported in the Auditor General's report, the misallocation and misappropriation, I can confirm the Secretary of the Cabinet and Accountant General that appropriate action has already begun to be taken against the officers who were named. Others have been suspended, others have been investigated. This is how government functions. The position of the president with regard to the unfair criticism and demands by civil society that the president can never be invited to a ring more profession, which is being propagated. The president is the president of the Republic of Zambia, not the president of FIC, not president of CEC, not president of police, not president of the corruption commission. He is the president of the Republic of Zambia. So if the FIC has given information about corrupt activities of companies or individuals, the SEC Director General has not informed the president also the position of the president on the seat was that he has no position because he has not even been given that report of interest. He has seen it like all of us. I saw it, so not like you saw it. The law as we have read it is that the FIC report must be rendered before the law enforcement agency. And if it has been rendered before the law enforcement agency, you cannot invite the president to begin to specifically point at who to take action. I can tell you better that report, which I have read online, does allege accusations of racketeering and money laundering against private citizens such as law people. How can you explain it today? How can you explain it logically today that the president must direct the arrest of law firm X, law firm Y? What would that, how does it leave presumption of innocence? Because the people named in their hypothetical character, even assuming that that report were to be true, you want the president to take action on hypothetical character Y, Z, and X. What should the president do against the hypothetical characters X, Y, and Z? He must take action against who? The president must direct the police to go to law firm X, the private company, when he does not have a prosecutable offense against us. So what the position of the president is that he, in fact, he has no position on the FIC report because he has seen it only on online media and it has not been officially given to him. But even if it were given to him, he would not be, because he is never ever involved in directing specific action against individuals, against companies. As Honorable Syria Minister of Information said, the president does not act on commerce. And that is a position. But just to emphasize that the calls from civil society are fair and misdirected. The generators of that report probably intended that this report was intended for civil society, and the desired result they wanted was the kind of cause. Maybe it has achieved the desired intention that it must be given to civil society and civil society must make demands. So the civil society yesterday actually said they know the people who are being named in there. So the civil society are better briefed than the president is from FIC. So if the civil society has better, they said it yesterday at Kapingira House that they actually know who stands for Y, who stands for X, Y, Z. So if the action, the disseminators, the action they intended was to generate the questions from civil society, perhaps the intended goal has been achieved. But the president cannot take a position on a report that has not been submitted to him. The report has been submitted to civil society. They are taking action. Probably that was the intention, to try and bully him and stampede him into directing action on individual citizens. That he will not do because it's not his role as president. He's president of the Republic of Zambia, conscious of the presumption of innocence, conscious of the need for a fair trial, if indeed the people to be mentioned in the report will face a trial. He coming down and say arrest that one jeopardizes the interest, jeopardizes the rights of that citizen if he were to do that which the civil society is asking him to do today. What do you think if the president directed that Kavanda must be arrested today because he has been named in the FIC report? Where does it leave his presumption of innocence? So the president is not taking any position on that matter because it is precisely that he read it in the newspaper. But even when he has gotten it, it is a systematic way in which the president acts. So once they have submitted reports to the law enforcement agencies, he evaluates it, measures it against all other factors and see that there is a need for administrative action. And even when he's taking that administrative action, he will not be under any circumstances be ordering the arrest of citizens. That is not the job of the president. He can order an investigation of where wrongdoing has been suspected so that the money for the state is not lost, that corruption does not occur. But he will not be ordering the arrest of citizens as the demands are being made by the civil society. In fact, I must emphasize that the calls are malicious, unfair, and misdirected.